Hey everybody, Jason here with Bodock Hollow, and today I'm going to show you how to paint your furniture without actually painting your furniture using Gimp. So what exactly is Gimp? Well, it's an image editor kind of like Photoshop with one key difference. It's absolutely free. So all you have to do is download it, install it, and start using. Now I don't know about you, but for me, with the thin margins in the furniture flipping business, anything I can get my hands on that's free is great. So let's get started. I'll show you where you can find it and some of the cool things you can do with it. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to www.gimp.org and then download the application. Once you've downloaded it, go ahead and install it. And then once you've installed it, go ahead and open it up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up an example file. And I just got a basic dresser off the internet. And here it is. And you'll notice when I open it over on the right hand side under the layers, we have a new image thumbnail with a name, and it just defaults to the file name. But I'm going to make this the base layer, so I'm going to rename it, and I just double click on the name and call it base layer and hit enter, and it's renamed. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of it. So I right click on it, and in the pop-up menu, I go duplicate layer, and you'll see I have base layer copy. I'm going to rename that to center drawers because that's what I'm going to work on first. Center drawers, enter. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add what they call a layer mask. And to do that, you right click, you hit add layer mask, and you can just leave it at default white, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. So you add that, right? So now what we need to do is we need to trace out the center drawers. So you want to go over to your left hand top menu, and the third one over looks like a little lasso. That is your tracing tool, your outline tool. All right. And you can hit control and zoom in with your mouse wheel if you have a PC. It's a little different on the Mac, but you just zoom in, and with your lasso tool selected, you just start in a corner, click it, go to the next one, click it, and just make a pattern around. And then let me tighten that one up just a little bit. Let me zoom in a little bit more so I can get up closer. All right, so I'm up, and then you can either click on the beginning one to close it, or you can hit enter, and it will make your outline. All right, so with that outlined, what I need to do is I want to erase or hide with a layer mask. If you don't use a layer mask, it will erase it for good. If you use a layer mask and you erase it on the layer mask, it basically just hides that stuff, but it's still there. And if you delete the layer mask, it comes back. So I'm going to take my paintbrush tool, and then you'll see the default colors are white and black. And you need white and black for this because white is painting an object in, and black is taking a part of an object away. And you can go back and forth with the little arrows here in the color. So we are going to remove some color, and to see the results, we need to hide the bottom layer. So on the layers over here, you have the little eye icons next to it. If the eye icon is on, that layer is showing. If you turn them off, it hides the layer. So this is everything hidden. This is just the center drawer showing, and the bottom layer is not showing. So now I can go in and erase, and you'll notice, oops, I erased the center. I don't want to erase the center. I want to keep the center drawer. So I change my colors. I can put that back, and I need to invert this selection. So I need to select everything outside of that drawer. And to do that, you have your selection. You go up to select, and you just go down to invert. And if you notice now, you have that squared, but you see the outside border is also. So that's showing you that everything outside of the center drawers is what is selected. So now I can do my erasing with the black. You got to switch back over to black to erase. White is paint it back. And then let's go ahead and change our brush size up so I can do big chunks at a time. And you'll notice now it just erases everything outside and leaves the center drawers. All right, nice and easy. Make sure you got it all erased. And you'll notice over here that the layer mask is black and white, and the shape of the layer mask looks just like your selection. So the white is what is showing and the black is what is hidden. And then if I want to disable that layer mask, everything comes back, but I want to keep that layer mask in place, so I'm going to uncheck disable, and there you have it. So then you want to unselect, so select none, and then if I turn the bottom layer back on, which is everything, it looks like a normal image. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to duplicate the bottom layer again. All right, right click on it, duplicate layer. I'm going to move this one to the top, and this time I'm going to call this one the outer drawers. So I'm going to select these drawers and these drawers. So this time I'm going to go back in. Don't forget to put your layer mask in. So add your layer mask, white. Yep, go ahead and add it. Now I'm going to go back to the select tool. I'm going to zoom in on the first set, and I'm going to do a quick mask around that. All right, here, here, and that. All right, so now I have one selected. I need to select the other one. So I need to hit the enter key to make sure that's there. And then you want to make sure that under your selection tool, your free select tool, there are option modes, and you want to make sure this one that says add to the current selection is selected. You also have it remove from current selection, but we want the add to current selection. All right, with that in there, now you can zoom into the other side and go in and do this one real quick. All right, get that square selected. And I would obviously, if I was doing this, I wanted to take more time with it, I would do that. Get your square selected, hit enter. Now if I zoom back out, you see that both of them are selected, and then I can go in and erase, but you got to make sure that you select inverse so you can erase everything outside of those drawers. So we go select invert, then we go to our paintbrush again, and we can paint everything out. Now you notice we're not seeing anything disappear. That's because we have our bottom layer on. Now if I turn that off, turn those bottom layers off, you see the layer we're working with, and everything outside of those outside drawers has been hidden with the layer mask. And again, if I disable that layer mask, everything comes back. With the layer mask enabled, it just shows the drawers. All right, so now I have my outer drawers, I have my center drawer, and I have the entire image in the background. I'm going to step away real quick. I'm going to do the same thing with the top, and then I'm going to outline the whole thing, and I'll be back to continue on with the tutorial. Okay, now we are back after I finished doing the top layer and the entire frame layer. So now if you look at where we're at, I have my base layer on the bottom, which I turn off, and then I have the entire frame, and then I also have the center drawers and the outer drawers, and then the top. So each one of those is the same process. So now I have all these individual pieces that I can go in and do things to. We'll start with the top. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple of different techniques here. Well, the first one is called, under the map, it's called color exchange. And what that will allow me to do is pick a specific color and exchange it for another one. But to do that, I need colors for examples. So what I've done is I've gone to the Dixie Belle website, and they had a color palette, and I took their color palette, right? Oops, I opened that the wrong way. I need to open that as a layer. So I'm going to open that Dixie Belle image as a layer, and it's going to throw it into my image. And then real quick on this one, I'm going to scale it down so I can see it. So I'm going to scale it down so it's all inside my image in case I want to pick different colors, all right? And then I'm going to just move it down out of the way so I can see all the colors, and I have access to them, but it's out of my way. Now, with that all set up, I'm going to just pick the layer of the top of the dresser, and I'm going to make sure I pick the image and not the layer mask. So the darker black and white one is your layer mask, and the one that has the actual colors is your image. You want to make sure you're on the image so you're manipulating the image and you're not manipulating the layer mask. All right, from there we're going to go up to colors, map, and then color exchange, and that'll bring up this dialog color exchange box. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and replace a from color with a to color. So the from color, pick the color selection tool and just go on the top of the dresser and pick somewhere in the mid color range in there. You see you have darker, and then the light changes and it's lighter. Just go somewhere in the mid color range is what you need. And then from the to color, we're going to pick one of our Dixie Belle colors, and I think I'll just go with one of the gray colors to make it easy. All right, so I'm going to pick this dark gray. All right, now to make these changes, you're going to have to adjust your red, green, and blue thresholds, and usually you just have to go about 3 to 4 to get those colors to start changing. But you'll notice my selection if I turn off my back layer and some of these other ones, so it's just the top. This is part of my selection. So if it's not covering everything, you need to raise your thresholds a little bit. So just raise your thresholds, and there it is. It's the blue, a little red. Just raise your thresholds until it is all gone. Now the color has all been replaced. So now I just hit OK, and now I have a gray top. All right, so let's do the same thing with the frame. So I'm going to go down and pick the image of the frame. I'm going to go do the color map, color exchange again. All right, and then we're going to pick somewhere on the frame. I'll just pick over here, and I'll pick that same gray, and we'll give it a shot. Sometimes this works pretty good. Sometimes it comes out light. So now this came out light, but I kind of want it to match the top a little bit more. So instead of picking that original gray from the color palette, I'm going to pick the gray. I'm going to try to pick the gray from the actual top. And you'll notice I can get it a little bit darker by using some of the darker tones. So I go into some of the darker tones where I think that looks somewhere in that range. I think I like that. So it kind of matches, it kind of looks real, and you have your color set. All right. So now I have my top and my frame set as gray, and I could have changed it to any color I want, but I like that. So now what I want to do is I want to simulate that I lighten the wood tones in the drawers, like I'm making them lighter. All right, and I just realized that I wasn't on screen, but it doesn't matter because you guys are watching the tutorial. So I'll go ahead and continue on here. So we're going to change these wood tones to something a little lighter. So let's go to the outside drawers, all right, which are these. And we're going to go back into the same tool, but we're going to do something a little different. So we're going to go map tool, color exchange. We're going to pick our from color somewhere in the drawer, and then in our to color, we're going to actually go and select the color itself and just pick one out of the colors. And what I'm looking for is yellow, and I'm going to go really light on the yellow. All right, so now if I change my thresholds, see that kind of washes the whole thing out and makes it look fake. So what we need to do, instead of using this blend option replace, what we're going to do is we're going to go down in the options and use the blending option of soft light. All right, so now we have a soft light, and if you take a look at that, it does look a lot lighter. So let's go in and play around just a little bit more. I don't know how light I can get this, but I'm going to try to get as close as I can to something brighter than what it was. All right. Let's see. See what happens if I just go straight white. All right, so that's about as bright as I'm gonna be able to get those. All right, and then hit OK, and then we'll do the same thing on the center drawer real quick. We'll go color map, color exchange, pick a color of the drawers. We'll go in here again on the color, get down in the yellows, get up there in the bright section, throw our thresholds up so the colors change, and that is not the color we're going to want, but that's all right. We can go back, change our blending option to overlay, and then we'll go back in the color and play around with it a little bit. I think I hit cancel instead of, yeah. So now, see, this one will adjust quite a bit more. So we kind of want to match as best we can what we did on the outside drawers, somewhere in that range. And then we hit OK. And OK. And then there you have it. So we turn the background back on. We turn the color palette off. And we save. Let's go ahead and save this as new colors. Desktop examples. And hit save. So there you have it. That's the quick and dirty tutorial on how to change colors on a piece of furniture and paint it before you paint it. Now, if you want to compare it to the original, you can make a duplicate of your bottom layer and move that duplicate to the top. And I've done that already, and I just hid the layer. But you can turn it back on, and there's your before, and there's your after. All right, so that's how you change the colors on your furniture without painting them first. Hopefully this helped some of you out. If you liked it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.